Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV. My name is John, and it's time for another year-end countdown for the 2019 season. To be honest, this is probably my favorite list, the one that I look forward to most each and every year. Towards the end of the year, it's my top 50 best songs of 2019. The reason why that is because I think a lot of you probably see me as the albums guy, but I love singles, I love deep cuts. There's songs that I just will come back to. It doesn't matter if it's in the context of the album or not, they just click and work for me. So I look forward to passing my favorites each year on to you guys. If you would like to follow along with the playlist, there is a link for not only the top 50 list on Spotify, but my best of 2019 that has hundreds of songs that you guys can get that go beyond what I could cover in this video. Of course, we wouldn't be able to hear these songs if we just recklessly exposed our ears to loud music all the time, and that's where today's sponsor, Eargasm Earplugs, comes in. I go to concerts on a monthly basis, and without hearing protection, I know I'd be destroying my ears. You can't get it back once it's gone, my friend. The problem is that so many of the foam and rubber earplugs are either super uncomfortable, awkward, or just flat out block out the sound so you can't enjoy the show. Eargasm's high-fidelity earplugs reduce noise by up to 21 decibels, and when I took them to a few concerts, I was shocked at how clearly I could still hear the music without having the full-on assault on my eardrums. They're extremely easy to carry right on your keychain, and I'm stoked on this ARTV custom design that Eargasm hooked me up with. There's two sizes right there in the box, so you don't have to worry about them not fitting your ears, and might I add that the design of the box, carrying case, and earplugs themselves are super stylish. Hit the top link in the description or the pinned comment to grab a pair for yourself or a friend. I really can't stress enough how important it is to protect your hearing. If you use code ARTV10 at checkout, you're gonna save 10% off your order, so there's an even bigger incentive to invest in a pair now. Oh, and did I mention that only 2 of the ARTV custom carrying cases exist? And while I'm keeping one pair for myself, of course, I'm giving away the other case with a pair of earplugs on Instagram. Just follow me at ARTVJohn and at Eargasm Earplugs over there, and comment on my post showing off the earplugs letting me know why you want them. I'll contact the winner in the DMs after I verify that you're following both accounts. Now that we've got our hearing protected, we can move straight into the top 50 countdown. If you enjoyed this list today, then please do me a huge favor by leaving a like on this video and helping this get to 3,000 likes. Subscribe if you happen to be new to the channel. There's a lot more content coming down the pipeline very soon, and here is my number 50 pick. English singer-songwriter Jadebird flashes a flaming folk-inspired scorcher on I Get No Joy, a song that really gets my blood flowing. It's nearly impossible to sit still while listening, and those brisk guitars are super enjoyable. I love the way they balance out the mix while also allowing Jade the room she needs to belt out those marvelous powerhouse vocals.
You wish the high would come and stick, a structured coma of infinite bliss, but reality is so sickening, but you have to deal with it.
Polar Bear is a criminally overlooked deep cut from an already underrated band, a gripping song about seeing a friend struggle with addiction and their fight to get clean. There's a lighter, almost uplifting atmosphere musically with some riveting guitars as you'd expect from Tiny Moving Parts, but perhaps even more convincing is the earnest performance from vocalist Dylan Matheson. He kills it on what is quickly becoming one of my favorite tracks from the Midwest emo revival crew. The Taylor Swift of yesteryear had been missing for quite a few years, but part of her finally returned on Lover. While it was still a bit spotty in terms of the album, its highs were really high and reminded me of the sharp songwriter who penned some of the best hits of the 21st century. The Archer boasts a synthy dream pop energy and really captured my attention as Taylor likened some of her past relationships to combat. The spacey electronic edge along with Taylor's gentle rolling of the refrain, "Easy they come, easy they go," made this feel really down to earth for me, which is exactly what I wanted to hear from the pop superstar. Intricate guitars, sweeping string sections, and a bit of self-hatred all put themselves in plain sight on Freakazoid, a major return to form for the indie rock band Silver Sun Pickups. I can't help but praise their bassist Nikki, who lays down some sick little grooves throughout, but also vocalist Brian Albert, who comes across as much more engaging and emotive, probably the most he's had either of those sensations since 2012's Neck of the Woods. The winding journey that this song takes you on just really hooked me, so kudos to the band for innovating rather than burning out or just fading away completely. The English indie rock band Foals are fantastic at laying down a lot of moving parts and then weaving them all together seamlessly. At the start, we get a trembling synth line which gives way to some buzzing bass and some reserved vocals. The chorus isn't exactly conventional at all by the time that we get there. It allows room for some borderline shouted vocals and a more raw culmination of the sounds presented. When the time comes for the bridge to finally roll in, we get a bit of what I'd call a dance break, I guess? Whatever it is, it's really effective, and the bounce that the final hook carries is unmatched. There's several others that I considered, especially since Foals put out 2 records this year, but In Degrees played its hand far too well for me to ignore.
Everything is coming, not sure what I should be learning from it. How can I convince you not to stay?
Writing a thoughtful song based on something really simple that actually happened in real life is such an underappreciated art, but power pop outfit Charlie Bliss weren't about to let a stolen credit card go to waste. Frontwoman Eva Hendricks wrote down the rough outline for camera while she was on hold with her bank canceling her credit card. Why? Well, look to the title of the song, duh! Somebody bought a $556 camera on her card, and she used this as the opportunity to envision the other person's perspective. What might they do with it? How far would it get them? It's just a really pleasant, chill tune that'll stick in the back of your head over time.
Towards our karma, did a rain that's bringing karma, Spencer karma to Oaxaca. I got spirits in my heart that make my mom move like a swastika.
Trombone beats are a slam dunk, dude. Brockhampton has 5 other vocalists killing it on this track, but Joba on that brass is a power move if I've ever seen one. While listening to this song out of the context of the album does mean that you've got the outro that I normally skip over, we've still got more than 3 minutes of pure fire.
Either on something or you're onto something. Either on something.
It's all about the execution, my dear Watson. Perhaps Temples might seem a bit elementary with the hook just repeating the phrase, you're either on something or you're onto something, but the vintage sounding psychedelic rockers actually smoothly roll through something pretty fucking extraordinary.
Told my brothers take my breath if I turn to a snitch, but I'm 21 for L, ain't no way I'ma switch.
2016, John from ARTV would have bitch slapped you and called you insane if you had told him that rapper 21 Savage would eventually make it to his year-end best songs list. But hey, here we are. The dude grew up a lot, honed his craft, and delivered some really good songs on his late 2018 record, I Am Greater Than I Was. Things got surprisingly deep as 21 tackled race and class issues, among other ideas such as fame, blowing up, and then everyone knocking down your door for a couple of bucks. J. Cole's verse can't go unnoticed either. It's pretty much fucking perfect and the cherry on the top of this sundae. Consistency is key for a band's longevity, and the Maine clearly unlocked that a long time ago. Slip the Noose is the magnetic opener from their latest record, pushing to the forefront a triumphant-sounding symphony and a flurry of guitars that help elevate John O'Callaghan's words. Evolving but staying very true to who you are might sound difficult, but the Maine make it look easy with the desperate urgency provided by this killer song. Prepare for a sing-along mode because this one never backs down.
Comfort seems unreal, the opposite of how I feel before I come undone. Are you the one?
A B-side basement? You delegated this to B-side status? I want to have a word with whoever decided that one of the best tracks of this rock band's career should be left off of their album Beside Myself and just put on the Record Store Day 7-inch single. Thank God I was able to scoop this up at my local shop. They had it and I fell in love fast. There's such a memorable riff pattern on this one. It's steady but questioning as the singer breaks down his conflicted feelings. Are you the one? I'm loving the drumming as well, and the fact that the band really seemed to have connected musically, it shows, and I hope that they continue down this path in the future.
You know I can't stay sober, drowning in the memory of you. Feelings start to take over.
Explosive firecracker-like choruses that also feel new or innovative are sadly a bit of a rarity in pop punk, but this new band Hot Milk weren't afraid to give a kick to the teeth with their debut single Awful Ever After. For as great as the first half of the song is, the bridge is what makes this, let's say, Facebook official. Have a blast with that. I'm not even gonna try and spoil it, but I guarantee that Hot Milk are going to blow up sooner rather than later with this slammin' sound.
I don't hope you're doing better. I'll just cut my losses. Oh, down the road you'll go across it.
We live in a really sensitive time, for better or for worse. I think what I'm missing the most is artists speaking their mind, not bowing down to anything or trying to please everyone. Heart Attack Man dropped their debut album Fake Blood in the spring and wow, yeah dudes, this is some tenacious stuff with a sense of stinging sarcasm. Cut My Losses was my favorite track overall, and it's kind of hilarious to listen to given its brutal honesty. Clearly a toxic relationship was ended and the other party is making empty threats about killing themselves unless the guy comes to see them or mend the situation or whatever. Instead of doing that, I'll just cut my losses belts in as the grinding chorus tears right through us. This is a menacing cut, but I also have to laugh every time.
You're the only one who knows me, babe. So hot, you're hurting my feelings. Can't be
Caroline Polachek proves that there's not only life after her former band Chairlift, but a feeling of renewed energy beyond it that can't be contained. So Hot You're Hurting My Feelings leans into the 80s lane hard, but pulls off the move like the suave seamstress she is. Prepare to get tangled in the romantic feels, my friends, and throw on the whole album Pang while you're at it. Picture the Foo Fighters Ripper White Limo, but with a smooth as fuck 90s sounding chorus. That's thrash metal cassette from Dinosaur Pileup, and like a cassette tape that you record multiple songs on, this track pulls off some flawless transitions between heavier and lighter sounds. There's even a cheerleader chant in the mix, and the bridge of this song is literally out of this world. It literally feels like a fever dream where I'm speeding down the highway with no seatbelt, yet somehow it's all okay. I fucking love it, even though I can't fully describe it. This song is a work of art that needs more ears on it.
As long as I'm here, no one can hurt you.
A touching ode to her brother came in the form of a dream, with the grim reality setting in with all the emotion on Everything I Wanted. Billy's album was great, but this shows major signs of life beyond just her debut record. It may be haunting due to Billy's presence and of course Phineas's production, but there's something hypnotizing here that just keeps me fully hooked for repeat listens beyond just the initial, wow, this song is kind of shocking and sad.
Rambled through the frame till it swallowed everything.
Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh wait. You're not listening to the song right now, you're listening to me talk about the song. Well, when you do cue it up, marvel at this incredible feat that Death Cab have achieved after more than 20 years together as a band. There's a slick guitar-driven ambience lurking throughout the song's first few minutes, but the chains are broken when the driving string section flies in to make this song sound like the score to a tense scene in a thriller film. You knew something was coming, but I'd put money on you not expecting the final product that we hear on To the Ground.
And yeah, I should have known better, but I swear it was better before.
Reliving your own sexual assault experience via song is something that I can't even begin to fathom, but it seems as if Kelsey fought tooth and nail to grind out this bitter, yet oddly catchy milestone that I feel must have been extremely therapeutic in her journey. The lyrics are so pointed and hyper-focused with incredible detail that leaves you both in shock and with a feeling of heartbreak knowing the pain that the artist went through to get here.
Everyone loves, everybody gets their hearts ripped out, but you got to keep dancing when the lights go out.
Sentimental feelings get conjured as soon as the opening piano notes hit. This is it. This is classic Coldplay, something pulled straight from the early days of, say, Parachutes or A Rush of Blood. Perched up on top of the globe is Chris Martin, one of the most genuinely likable people in the music industry. It feels as though he wrote this with the entire world in mind, yet it doesn't try too desperately to connect to that wide audience. It just kinda happens naturally.
I'll tell you all your lies will tear you apart. I'm calling all to arms, so everyone and all, it's time to hear your voice. You've got the right.
Metal flirtations have been a part of Sum 41 off and on for their entire discography, especially when guitarist Brown Sound has a say in it. They dialed up that genre's influence to 11 for this bellowing roar, A Death in the Family, one of the Canadian band's best tracks to date. The verses rip with some incredible drums to boot, and that chorus will not leave your head. Crashing cymbal hits and a thundering vocal performance that refuses to be reined in pushes view from our bedroom window to lift its sail in stormy seas, finding chaos in the ordinary and elevating to the extraordinary. La Dispute never disappoint, and Panorama continued that streak with unforgettable moments like this. Water parks get a bad rep for several different reasons, some understandable, some not so much. What it boils down to for me is the sheer amount of lovable songs that they release, and while Easy to Hate may be too sugary sweet for some of my viewers, I cannot cleanse my palate of this earworm, and I'm still not mad about it.
Listen, I bought a Montclair coat for the times where it broke. I'ma wear it in the summer on LeBron James boat. Front row, duh bro, we don't sit in no bleeds. Ain't your pockets obese? They won't fit in no seats.
Collaborations in rap are often hard to get excited about given how often it occurs. Wow, cool, another predictable collaboration from the same rappers again, I'm so stoked. Well, I get you, but hang on there, neighbor, this cut is the antithesis of that. I haven't witnessed bubbling chemical wordplay like this in ages. Anderson .Paak joins YBN Cordae for this playful slice of life from YBN's debut album, and the smooth heat radiating hits me like a cross between a volcano and a relaxing day at the beach. Another huge plus is that it's rooted with real instruments and features its two leads intertwining flows and wordplay as they trade jabs and bars throughout the entire track. Rise up, fight back, and don't let them get the best of you. The message of Fever 333 is lit like a trail of gasoline, led by former Letlive member Jason Alon Butler. His desperation hits like a ton of bricks, with a touch of Linkin Park being felt too. That chorus feels like something straight out of the late 90s or even the early 2000s, and of course the comparisons to Rage Against the Machine are inevitable due to the political nature of their lyrics and the way that Butler ties rapping, singing, and screaming together. The key is to have an open mind and to not buy into that dismissal that some throw their way.
The house is glass. It's an illusion. This admiration, a mutilation, my isolation.
Desert rock delusions take the throne on this hard-hitting yet almost apathetic house of glass. Cage have remained one of my favorite bands of the 2010s decade, and with the bombastic drum performance pushing 70s sounding guitars behind Matt Schultz's manic vocals, this is going down as one of the Kentucky band's greatest songs to date.
24 years I had the heart to play.
24 at 25. Nice work, Johnny boy. You did a troll thing. So I'm guessing it probably seems a little bit odd to not pick one of the singles, right? I mean, maybe so. I definitely wrestled around with which Bad Flower song should make my list, but 24 showed us a battered man losing all faith in himself, taking this message and pairing it with a slow-burning performance from the rest of the members to make this an incredible listen.
She tried to quit you, but she just can't stop. She goes to 11. Send her to heaven.
Love, love, love it when a song just gets right into it, no bullshit, just break down the wall and hit us with that sweet, sweet music. The Rejects have had a pretty spotty decade, with record label struggles being a big strain on the band, yet here we are at Send Her to Heaven, a vibrant, bouncy song about a girl named Molly that has an affectation for substance abuse. As a man who loves some good puns, references, and plays on words, this song is stuffed full of them. So thank you to the All-American Rejects for catering to my taste. If you haven't listened to them in a long time, I think you'll probably love this track. It's kind of a major return to form with some killer guitar moments to kick it up another notch.
I slept away. Lying on the bedroom floor, hanging on the words that you said before.
Matt Skiba finally felt fully at home in Blink-182 when No Heart to Speak Of arrived, a gargantuan titan that saw Matt adding his unique personality which Blink so desperately needed. This is exactly what Blink-182 in 2019 should sound like. They hit a great stride musically with carefully balanced guitar in the verses, Travis Barker's ever-driving drum beats, and Matt Skiba actually leading the charge instead of Mark for once. Mark gets the second verse, but Matt again swoops in to steal the show for that chorus, and my god, the bridge of this is just phenomenal. Give us more of those yells, Skiba, no more holding back, because songs like this make the fans feel it in their bones. Dazzling vocals transform something that might on paper feel rather plain into a touching moment that just makes me want to smile and cry at the same time. Broods constantly innovate within their own soundscape, and Dust felt like a dose of freedom in musical form. The sibling duo float in the clouds amidst a light guitar pattern before flying freely with the wind on that sensational chorus. Not to mention that effervescent guitar solo that rocked my world when it finally pounces in. The return of Creeper. Yes, Lord, 2019 was worth it after all. Fine, I'm being dramatic, but fuck, I mean, it's Creeper, and this new banger is melodramatic in the best way imaginable, so can you really blame me? As the British band channel AFI and their own personal evolutions, we see vocalist Will Gould pouring his entire being into this, which is one of the main reasons why it works so well. I love the keys added to the chorus, and the way that the verses feel a bit more open, fueled mainly by a catchy guitar lick with a spotlight on Will. Also, I can't help myself, but the way that he sings on the hood of your father's truck, I mean, just chills, man. I don't know why that resonates with me, but the way he sings never ceases to amaze me.
What do we keep when the water runs? What do we love?
The pop crossover event of the year is right here in front of your eyes and ears, yet somehow this wasn't a smash hit? What the fuck is wrong with us? Charlie and Christine's chemistry is more believable than Sean and Camilla's in Senorita. I stole that from the comments section, but I'll be damned if it isn't true. You feel the confusing pain of being in their shoes as they blend seamlessly and smack you in the face with emotion at the same time. I genuinely love the way this song was produced as well. It just goes to show you how good Charlie can be when she's got the right song, and this most definitely was a boss move. Poppy will really catch you off guard given her transformation over the past couple of years. Her songwriting has improved, and to state the obvious elephant in the room, she got a backing band that's heavy as fuck! More power to Poppy. Pretty much everything she touched this year turned to gold, with Scary Mask narrowly edging out her other tracks to make my countdown. Fever 333 make their second appearance on this list as they're the featured guest on the song, so for the love of all that is cute but heavy, go hear this for yourself. You don't just want it, you need it. Two shockers in a row. Bit of a ballistic missile to the eardrum, isn't it? Keep them coming though, who cares when the surprises from left field sound this wonderful? Matty Healy of the 1975 is looking to lead a revolution of rebellious youth, and the punk rock stylings of People rocks the hell out while delivering the goods lyrically. If this doesn't want to make you get up and do something, then I don't think anything will. Just don't make the mistake of writing the lads off as some one-dimensional band that writes songs about girls. You're in for a wake up, wake up, wake up call when you realize that that's not who they are. Step inside of a film with Wallows, the talented young band partially fronted by Netflix star Dylan Minnette. I say film for obvious reasons. I mean, it's called Just Like a Movie and features vocal trade-offs between Dylan and Braden, in addition to some washed-out guitars, twinkling keys that really do remind me of scenes from movies. It's kinda hard to explain, kinda like a surf rock energy. Jimmy Eat World returned to rocking on Criminal Energy, a loudmouth tune that really got me pumped about their latest record. Now, that's not to say that the band haven't been rocking, they've just been experimenting a bit more, and I've liked a lot of those results. However, I can't pretend that I don't love this slamming guitar-driven sound, especially with that little intro, just like the little cherry, the cherry right on top right there. It's just nice to see that so much thought is still going into the lyrics and overall composition even after all these years.
Not too long, yeah, baby, you my new corn. Yeah,
Bassists deserve more love than you can even imagine, and Plague Vendor throw theirs in the spotlight with a massive driving bass line on New Come Down. Between that and the post-punk aggression that's seething from every pore of the track, I can't get enough of this in-your-face tune that's gotten more plays from me this year than I'd care to admit. It's a lot, okay? Steady and focused in its resolve, Death Stranding is the titular track from the PS4 video game of the same name by the synthpop trio Churches. This song blossoms from a bare-bones outline into an all-encompassing anthem by the time it's over. You really don't even feel the 5-minute runtime glide by, its symmetry is perfectly aligned, and if this is any indication of what their next record will sound like, then consider my hype to be through the roof. Oh, 2019 was an extremely hard year, and without getting into specifics, I just really connected to Tall from Baysides and Terabang. No, not just because I'm a freak of nature at 6'6", but because of the subject matter and the thrilling musicality. If we were to break down the most underrated guitarist of the century so far, Jack O'Shea would have to be in that discussion. And once again, his jolting momentum immediately draws the listener in for what Anthony Ranieri has to say on Tall. It was like selecting a favorite child to actually pick one of the new bangers from their album to put on this list, but Tall it is because bad 2019 was. One second you're thinking to yourself, wow, what's this hipstery nonsense that sounds like it should be playing in a Forever 21, and the next you're placing it at number 12 on the best songs of the year list. Times change and so do opinions, so thank the music gods that I came around on the band Camino, in particular, Daphne Blue. If you like glossy 80s synth vibes with a blend of raucous guitar and bass, then you're gonna love this. Not to mention the well-timed rotation of the vocalists within the band, plus that groove your ass off chorus that hasn't left my head since I discovered the song. A sultry guitar solo sends this one over the moon and has me excited for what these guys could create in the future.
I've been climbing up the walls to escape the sinking feeling, but I can't hide from the night that's to my door.
Bring Me the Horizon continued to climb the walls of the genre boxes people had tried to confine them to, much to the dismay of some of the locals, but impressing me nonetheless with this landmine trance wave track that feels plucked from the future and the past at the same time. Grimes adds a lot of smoky mystery here, and Ollie Sykes hits with a pretty impressive range as his vocals shift from hazy to raw at the snap of a finger, or should I say, at the drop of a beat. Once the live drums and guitars kick in at the final drop, you're pretty much ready to race into battle with the band, knowing that the scars you get will be worth it in the long run. If there's such a thing as a song that makes you feel drunk without having a drop of alcohol in your system, that might just be Ariana Grande's bad idea. Getting the urge to hit someone up to come over and numb the pain away is the basic plotline of the track, but the whole drunk theory that comes from yours truly, you see what I did there, plays into that because of how intoxicating its music and message are. Fusing a running guitar rhythm with booming bass and Ariana's mischievous attitude made this a sultry winner in my book all year long. That ending was a genius move. Max Martin and Ilya really went above and beyond with that fake-out ending before letting the skittering beat ride out along with Ariana's chopped and screwed vocals.
I don't know why I make you sad. She says I'm a scumbag, wants to take her love back.
Speaking from the point of view of a jaded music fan and critic that so rarely loves a song completely on first listen, I can honestly say that I got that feeling with Scumbag. A song that wouldn't have even made my radar if it wasn't for the YouTube home feed suggesting this video featuring Blink-182 to me over and over. Wow, I finally clicked it, and this is the most right up my 2000s loving alley song I've heard in ages. Scumbag takes the self-deprecation and turns the blame to the narrator, which in this case happens to be Goody Grace. Hang your emo head in sadness on this whiny in the best way moment that splices a forlorn guitar riff with one of Travis Barker's most chill drum beats of all time. Goody Grace slowly builds more momentum leading to that second chorus, which at that point, you can't not belt out and then Hoppus on the bridge, out of this world good. You're not even ready. This is everything I could have asked for in the return of Tool. It's 15 minutes long, it takes us on a journey, they mix up the time signatures and grooves, and most importantly, Tool get angry on this absolute masterpiece that features riffs that have apparently been floating around since the 90s. Side note, if you missed my top 10 Tool video, then there's a card on screen here to check that out, and spoiler alert, this song is on the list. Two angelic emo voices become one. How? Uncomfortably numb. All, and I mean all, of the feels come out on this American football track. I just can't get over how a burden feels as if it's being lifted as you listen. A weight is gone that was sitting on your shoulders before it began. For as bleak as it may be, there's comfort in the lack of feeling. I'll make new friends in the ambulance? Like, my god, what a one-liner! Hayley Williams of Paramore is sensational, but so beautifully serene with her calming voice. It's the exact compliment Mike Kinsella needed to balance out the momentum. You might feel like life is hanging in the balance as you listen, but the more you fade into the arms of those looming guitars and tender brass, the more that you realize this song is a much-needed friend. This should absolutely come as no surprise to most of you. I've been singing the praises of White Reaper since I discovered them in the summer. Might Be Right is a timeless sounding gem that weaves the sounds of, say, The Strokes with the flares of the 70s, the 80s, and even some of the early 2000s. There's kind of a garagey sound to it in a way, and it's incredibly charming the more listens you give it. Steady thumping bass guitar is a guiding force that paves the way for that roller coaster ride of a chorus that evolves as the song goes on, adding additional lyrics like adding a covered porch to the back of your house. Rally around White Reaper and keep their streak going. I'm so happy to see the song doing well on the rock and alternative charts, so take a step back in time and thank me later. Being a sarcastic little bitch myself, seeing irony or sarcasm pop up in music always attracts my attention. The Canadian punks Puff practically bleed sarcasm, with See You at Your Funeral being their crown jewel. Nothing like a heavy dose of masochism to get your day started, am I right, neighbor? Pour some of this in your cup and let it serve as a therapy session. The gang vocals are always a trait of Puff that they excel at, plus you've got the added benefit of those air guitar-worthy rhythms and those shout-along sections that should turn that frown into a sadistic smile.
You ain't gotta sit and cry. It's Leslie living in this gift called life. There's no better gift than a gift of life, so can you handle it?
Sorry to shift up the tone so heavily, but Dave fucking gutted me with this 11-minute rap odyssey that recounts the story of Leslie, a woman in an abusive relationship that the British rapper met on the train. I sobbed my eyes out to this song. I was not prepared for my first listen in any way, shape, or form, because Dave destroyed my heart. Whenever someone has an eye or an ear for telling a story, you just know, and he without a doubt has that ability to leave something with the listener. If you haven't heard this, I don't want to spoil everything for you, but it's a tough look in the lens of life that was based on somebody that Dave actually knew from what I understand. The instrumental is eerie and reminds me a bit of the typewriter save screen music from Resident Evil 4. But yeah, Dave murdered this on every level, and the female vocals that come back in for the I don't know myself refrain on a regular basis and that outro, just a 110% yes from me. Corey Taylor of Slipknot wants you to know that his mental health hasn't exactly been in the best of places, and he relays that message in one of the most intimidating ways that I've ever heard in my entire life. Holy shit, this song still kicks my ass every single time, with the jarring changes of pace, sinister atmospheric intro, and a kick-you-in-the-teeth performance from every member of the ILuvMetal band. Solway Firth is an experimental tank of a song that shatters expectations one way with how heavy it truly is, but also with how diverse its sound can get. It's in fact my favorite Slipknot song to date, which is saying something. I know that's a bold claim, but this is a complete jaw-dropper. Unexpected levels of heavy are achieved once again on my number 2 pick, Float to the Top by the insanely talented, yet largely unnoticed Georgia-based rock band Microwave. It's truly bizarre how a group this talented don't have more people paying attention to their stuff, but if you dare hit play on this monument to their skill, you'll be forced to fall in love with their music and never look back. The meaty guitar riffs that fill the pummeling, shouted, and screamed chorus grab you by the throat and slam you to the ground, but holy hell, do you love that beatdown! With its almost intentionally misleading calm intro, you start to catch wind of what's happening when they sneak in the menacing guitar tones in the instrumental pre-chorus before really diving down that rabbit hole.
Here comes the Sunday driver. Came to get my sister.
I felt it in my bones when the single dropped in late December, and that magic is still in the air with each passing listen of Sunday Driver. Jack White and Company returned as the Raconteurs, which was incredibly exciting for me as a big fan of the group, and they returned with some of their greatest material to date after a decade-long hiatus. Bluesy vintage rock styling served as the blueprint for what this song wanted to do, and they totally hit the nail right on the head here, along with serving up this upbeat Raconteurs-esque energy that made this feel really cheerful to me. It's easy to get bogged down in trying to look through every little lyric and feeling forced to look for the deeper meaning in every song you listen to. So it's nice when something rather straightforward also happens to be a rip-roaring timeless beast that sounds like it could be listened to 20 years from now with ease. Indeed, Sunday Driver remained my favorite track pretty much the entire year, even though there clearly was some fierce competition. I'm just happy to see that we had such a great year in music that a top 50 can't even do it justice. Thanks so much for watching as I counted down my selections for the top 50 best songs of 2019. Smashing the like button would be a tremendous favor I could never repay you for if you'd be willing to do that if you enjoyed the video, and more importantly, I want you to hear these tracks in full, so go follow the top 50 playlist that's linked down below. You can also follow my Best of the Year playlist that has hundreds of songs that I really enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on if you happen to be new to the neighborhood. You don't want to miss out on all the other year-end countdowns and even the decade-end content that's just around the corner. Thank you again to Eargasm Earplugs for sponsoring this video. Go pick yourself up a pair, top link in the description down below. All of the kickbacks from your purchases do help support ARTV directly. If you want to see all of my year-end countdowns in one convenient playlist, then tap this right here, or tap right over here if you want to see my top 50 favorite songs of last year. Other than that, all of my social media accounts can be found down below, and I'll see you soon for more on ARTV.